Good Saturday morning, or should I say Saturday afternoon, depending on where you live in the country. We usually come in on Saturdays and we'll do a little bit of touch up, actually clean up around the shop on Saturdays. So just got that finished, and a thread came up yesterday I kind of wanted to talk about. I'll wait for a few people to get in here, but I want you to see this, and I want you to understand something, basically like the title says. You are not your client. And I'm going to prove that to you. And it's at both ends of the spectrum. Just remember this for the rest of your life. As long as you're a cleaner, really, as long as you're an entrepreneur of any type, just remember, you are not your client. And you're going to find out what I mean by that in just a second. So I'm going to start this little drive back to the house through the back roads, and we'll talk about it. Here we go. All right, so my point is, and there is two ends of the spectrum, and I think this is a big mistake that a lot of carpet cleaners make. They think they are their client. Okay? They really actually are that delusional to believe they are their client. And maybe in some rare instances, you are, your client. But I don't know about you, but most of the times, clients who are calling us have a good disposable income. Remember that 50%, studies have proven, 50% of homeowners clean their own carpets. And I want you to ask yourself a question. If you weren't a carpet cleaner, would you be cleaning your own carpets? You probably would. It's probably how you got into the business in the first place. It ain't like you just went to college, you went out and got this big old fat small business administration loan, and then you develop this business plan, and the next thing you know, you're a carpet cleaner. Now, are there some instances out there like that? Yes. But for the most part, no. A lot of you guys either work for another carpet cleaner, like myself, or you started cleaning and did some type of cleaning at your own home. All right? So what does that tell you? That tells you you're not your client, okay? Because the clients who are calling us usually have a ton of disposable income. They're that other 50% that aren't going to clean the carpets themselves. They're the type of people who are probably, make a very decent income, live in a nice area for the most part, or they're conscientious about having their home clean and healthy. And, there's two ends of the spectrum. We run into customers who are on the lower end, and then we have some on the higher end. Okay? And I want to break those two ends down because I want you to understand what I mean by that. Somebody brought up yesterday in one of the groups, and they said, well, Rob, this guy cleaned his carpets and you let him do it, and you put your so-called, commendation on somebody who cleaned the carpets, which were nasty, they were filthy. He used Grout Master and he used Citrosolv to get it clean. Okay? And I said, well, really, who am I to judge? If the customer calls us out there to clean the carpets, I'm not there to determine whether they are clean people or not, or how they live their lives. Because his point was, he said, would you let your grandchild or your children crawl around on those carpets? And I'm thinking to myself, no, I would let nobody walk around the carpets like that. But you know what? I'm not my customer. Okay? However, I did make a substantial difference in making the environment cleaner for the people who do live there. So I can feel good about that. I'm not going to sit there and feel bad or turn it down just because I feel like, I wouldn't live in those conditions. That's not my choice. That's their choice. And it was their choice to call me out to be able to get it to look as nice as possible. And so that's what I did. And I'm going to give you this little experience that I ran into many years back. And I went to this home, and the state had called, believe it or not. The state called and said, look, can you go over and take care of this house, and we're going to pay you for it. We need it cleaned, and we need pest control done inside there. And I said, sure, what's the problem? And they said, well, the parents are basically, they were trying to be nice about it, but they were almost special needs. But they have 5 children, and the 5 children were normal. And so the house, they said, needed a lot of attention, and they helped keep it up, and they would pay people to do it. Well, when I get there, guess what? Not only the carpets and the floor is dirty, but there's roaches crawling everywhere. Also, inside of the bedrooms, as I'm doing the walkthrough, I could see mice running out of the chest of drawers. Now, I had two options at that moment, okay? And what were those options? Option number one, say, I'm getting out of this nasty, stanky place. How can people live like this? Or option number two, I thought to myself, you know, it's not the children's fault that they found themselves in this environment and this condition. So, Rob, what can you do to substantially make their environment cleaner and healthier? And you know, that's what I did. So I went ahead and cleaned everything. I took care of the roaches. I treated for the rodents. And I left that place knowing that it's still not a place I would live in. Still not a place I would want my children or my grandchildren walking or crawling around on the carpets. But guess what? I left knowing that I made a difference in that person's life. And you see, I got paid for it. I did a nice thing for the community. And you know what I realized? I am not my client. Okay? All right, so that's one end of the spectrum. Now let's move all the way to the other end of the spectrum. All right? I just moved into a neighborhood after being in business for almost 40 years, right? And the people in this neighborhood, for the most part, are extremely wealthy. They're lawyers, doctors, politicians. It's on a golf course. They hardly ever work, and they're generally just out playing golf. He asked me, he says to me when I first moved in, neighbor walks to me, hey, you know, what do you do for a living? So I'm a carpet cleaner. You know, I just did that smiling because, you know, I'm more than a carpet cleaner. I'm an entrepreneur. I own a water damage, a pest control, a carpet cleaning company. I own a forum. I owned an online store. I own an online school. But I wouldn't go sit there and give him all that. But guess what? He's hardly talked to me since then. You know, because really, he's probably, people judge you by what you do sometimes, or what they think your income is in life. He's probably thinking to himself, my God, this guy's probably a drug dealer, not a carpet cleaner. What's he doing in my neighborhood? You know, because apparently he went to college, he got a good job, started his own business, and now he's doing something, but it's something, you know, that's different from what he's used to hearing. I'm probably the first carpet cleaner that's ever moved into that area. All right, I'm going to give you one more experience. I'm building up to letting you know why you are not your client. So also, many years back when I had my first carpet cleaning company, I built it up to 5 trucks, right? And I was home all the time, and I had almost an acre of land, a full basketball court in the backyard, and I had my trucks in the backyard, and they would pull out every day and leave and go clean carpets, you know. And those were some fun times. Had a really good time back then. But anyway, the neighbors had a party, and at that party, I wasn't able to make it to the party, but one of my friends went, who I was really tight with, but all the people there didn't know how good of friends I was with this person. So I talked to him the next day or so. I said, hey, how was the party? He says, really good, Robert. I got to tell you something. I said, oh, what's that? He said, you know, all your neighbors, they all think you're a drug dealer, because people come over and play basketball, you go play golf, and you're hardly ever home. And you're always home, and you're never out working. Little did they know, though, but, you know, I was always working and managing my company 24/7, 365 days a year. But I was able to, as an entrepreneur, I was able to maneuver my time around where I could do the things I like and have the things that I loved. So I'd have all these people come over and play basketball and stuff like that on the weekends. So you see, all this builds up to is you probably are not your client. You probably aren't really super wealthy. You probably don't have disposable income. And I think it's such a big mistake to think that you are your client and base your prices on it. This is where I'm going with the whole thing. So what happens is you get into this mentality. You have this do-it-yourself mentality, or you have this low price mentality. So now you're setting your prices based off of who you think you are. You think you're your client. You know what? You probably wouldn't spend $800 to have your carpets cleaned if you weren't, and you didn't know anything about this industry. you probably wouldn't spend $500. You probably wouldn't spend $400. You probably wouldn't spend anything. You probably clean it yourself. Am I right? Okay? Because the majority of us are not our clients. So if you base your prices and you walk inside that home and you're thinking, and you're building your company, you're thinking, oh, well, should I really go to $30, $40? Sounds so high a room. $50 a room? I'm charging $50 to $75 a room right now, and I still have to work on that mindset. I was raised with a family of nine children. We were extremely poor. We passed on shoes. We passed on clothing, and we only had one good meal a day. So it's hard. If you ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you haven't, take some time and read it. So the whole point is, I'm not my customer, and neither are you. And it's very easy to get caught into that trap and charge people according to the way you were raised and the way you think. You have to base it on the quality of service that you're delivering and the money you want to make. Okay, so that's what I want to charge my prices on, and I'm not going to think the way I thought in the past, or that my client, or that I'm my client, when I'm not my client. All right, so is all this making sense to you? I hope you're kind of understanding where I'm coming from. I just think that a lot of these carpet cleaners are out there charging $20 a room, $99 for a whole house. Ooh. It's odd. Well, police officer trying to get through the neighborhood. Sorry about that. I know I wasn't speeding. And then he cut his lights off, his sound off. So he's going back into a neighborhood here. Not my neighborhood, but I'm about halfway home, by the way. Let's see, repeat what you just said there. Preston, give me a hint of what I was just talking about. Except the fact that we are not our clients. And how easy it is. I guess I was talking about how easy it is to base our prices upon our upbringing, or upon what we think is a fair price. Really, our prices should be based on the quality and the experience that we're delivering. If you're delivering Ruth Chris type of service, then you should be charging Ruth Chris type of pricing. If you are delivering, McDonald's quality and quality service, well, then that's what you should be charging. Don't base it on what your mentality is, or thinking that you are your client. You want to base it on your target market. Who's your target market? I want to make as much money as possible. That's what's really important to me, okay? And I also want to get paid for the quality of service that I'm delivering. So I'm already delivering knock your socks off quality service and mind-blowing quality and processes. So based on that, I feel confident that I can charge people accordingly and not feel bad about it. I'm offering a great service to the community, and that's going to attract the clientele that I want. And that's the upper end clientele who are willing to spend it. Or even some people in middle income, and sometimes even low income, because they're basing it off just the fact they just want a clean, healthy environment. So that's what it boils down to. But don't set your prices on a mentality. So I was going back to the point, I see some carpet cleaners riding around still, $99, whole house. And these are nice, decent looking guys, stuff like that. But they might have came up poor. Or they might think that, well, I just can't charge somebody that price. I feel bad about it. Don't. There's no reason to feel bad about it. Charge a fair and honest price for the quality of workmanship that you're delivering. Now, if you're delivering crappy work, well then, do crappy pricing, okay? People expect, if they're spending a lower price and they're getting something off Craigslist, they're not expecting top tier service, okay? But when they're looking around and they're reading reviews and they're getting referrals and repeats, they're expecting to pay a little bit more money. All right? So there's nothing wrong with that. See, there's a lot of points here, and I'm almost to my home. I've got another block or so. When I get to my house, I'll go ahead and I'll entertain a couple of these questions. Let's see, Andre Brown, we offer an experience. We have that Ruth Chris quality with the Ruth Chris pricing. There you go. There you go, Andre. And see, but did you always feel that way, Andre? Or is this something that happened later on. I mean, I started off looking around at my competition. What did they charge? And of course, now I started off a long time ago, so I'm going to give my age away in 1985, but it was, $20 a room back then, And so I just looked around what everybody else was charging, and that's what I charged. But if I had to do over again, I probably would have charged more money because I know I was delivering higher quality. No wonder I built up such a fantastic clientele. No wonder when I raised my prices, I didn't hardly lose anybody. Because you know what? They realized, wow, this guy is delivering. You we're getting a heck of a deal. A great deal. Let's not tell the guy though, I really believe that's probably how they felt. This guy's quality went up and up and up thinking about me. The experience went up and up. I was delivering tons of the dog and pony show, and yet I wasn't raising my prices. Because you know why? I thought that I was my client. I'm not my client. Okay? I wasn't my client for that poor home where the special needs people were, where the house needed all that extra work. And yet I still went ahead and did the job and made a substantial difference in their environment and their quality of life. I'm not, a multi-millionaire. Now, I'm not bad off now, but all throughout the years I wasn't a millionaire. And I based my prices off of, as my income went up, I started charging people more money. But really, in retrospect, I should have been charging more money right from the get-go. Or at least, midway through my entrepreneurial experience. It's just nobody told me that I wasn't my client. I'm not my target client. And so you have to base your prices off of that. And that's really important. Let's see if I can get back a couple of these up here and take a look. Well, there's a lot of good comments here. And I'm going to go through those. So give me a minute. I'm only a block from my home. As soon as I get there. Wow, a ton of comments here. So be patient with me. Just remember, if nothing else from this whole thing here, that you are not your client. More than likely, you didn't have a college education, or more than likely, you might have been a do-it-yourself carpet cleaner. As I mentioned early on in this right here, a lot of people don't know this, but there was a study done, and 50% of homeowners out there clean the carpets themselves. They're do-it-yourself. And you don't believe it? Look at all the do-it-yourself products that are sold out there. How many times you go inside a home and the customer's got Gloria, Resolve, OxiClean, and all that kind of stuff under her counter? Or maybe an old carpet cleaning machine. They tried it, They were do-it-yourselfers. And so are we to some degree. We probably were. How many of you guys complain about the prices of truck mounts? The prices of chemistry? Or the prices of getting repairs done? When really you shouldn't be. Or the price of tools. I just saw recently where somebody was complaining about the price of a CRB being, it's $2,000. Well, to my thought, that's not really that much money because you can't spend too much money for a tool if it's delivering higher quality and it's going to pay for itself. And if it's delivering that experience to set you apart from your competitors, it's going to pay for itself. Tools, chemistry, truck mounts, vans, they make you money. Now, if you were, and you know what, the same people, right, they'll go out here and buy themselves a nice car, buy some rims for thousands of dollars, which make them no money, okay? Or they'll buy themselves a big truck, get some big old fat tires, some cool rims on it, some exhaust systems, and that's costing them money, not making them no money. And, they won't complain whatsoever, right? But God knows if they're going to spend $1 more for some pre-spray, for some quality pre-spray, or they got to pay, $1,000 for a tool that's going to make them a ton of money, they're going to cry. Yeah, it just makes no sense to me, okay? So what? It's trying to connect to my internet as I'm pulling up to my house. So it might go in and out just a wee bit, so be patient with me here. As I pull up my driveway a little bit slanted, so we're getting the beeper there. Cool, which is going to be nice and get a hold of my, matter of fact, I'm going to open this door here. And I'll walk in internet better. That's my dog out there to meet me. Go open the garage door. What's up, Sitkis? What's up, big guy? Come on. I'm gonna have to take a look at this here in a second. Let's go inside. Go on. What you doing, big guy, huh? Oh, shh. Hold on. Hey, I'm on live. Come on, hold it. Kill him, Miss Malls. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, good thing the house is clean, right? All right, so where was I? I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of these points here. So give me a second. Have a seat here. All right. Here we go. Turn this around here. There we go. Lighting's terrible in here. There we go. That's much better. I can see a little bit. All right. Let me go through a couple of these points here. I'll go ahead and close this video down. It's kind of want you to understand that you're not your customer. And there are a lot of comments. So bear with me. I'm going to back it up a bit. Scroll on through here. Take a look here. This is kind of funny. I see Barry says you don't want to clean your neighbors. They shouldn't be able to afford you. Well, my neighborhood, I don't mind, but I have a whole different reason for not cleaning for my neighbors. Really, I see my neighbors sometimes use Stanley Steamer and other companies. I'm happy they do. Okay, because sometimes cleaning for neighbors is almost like cleaning for family. And problems arise, and I don't want to, you just get too familiar with your neighbors. So, and if problems arise, they're right beside you. So, I try to avoid cleaning for neighbors. I hope they call somebody else personally. Let's see, I had some other guys. Ron Rivas says, I had some guys in my other job talk down to me for being a carpet cleaner. I just smile and let's see what it says here. I just smile and say, laugh it up, boys. Hey, I like that. That's good, Ron. Exactly. People have no idea how much we really make, do they? There's no doubt about it. Let's see, Robert Johnson, do you recommend pest control be done before or after the carpet cleaning? I always recommend it be done before. Really, that's ideal because if you really think about it, Robert, if they've got fleas or something like that, there's a possibility you're going to take fleas home. So go ahead and have the pest control done ahead of time. I do believe you should do that. Let's see. Hey, Robert made a good point, Robert Stegel. He's the one who came up with that thread anyway. The thread where the guy was complaining, well, why would you clean those carpets when they were so nasty, you wouldn't have your family on it. But I like this final point you made here, Robert. We were talking about that in the thread. Basically, you just said we wouldn't allow our carpets to get that dirty. Good point. So nobody can make the claim that you wouldn't let your family live on those carpets. Well, we wouldn't let our family get the carpets that dirty in the first place. Good point, Robert. And it's money on the table. If you want to do it, that's fine. Let's see. Terrible job every time I tried to clean them, Jeff. All right. He likes the pink shirt. It's not pink, okay? It's not pink. It's, maybe it is. You can't say it's not. All right, here we go. All right, going back the other end of the spectrum here. I'm almost done. Look at a few more of these comments, and I'm going to close this out here. Preston, you had mentioned, repeat this. Did I repeat it good enough for you, Preston? Okay. Remember that we're not our clients, and don't base your prices thinking that you are your client when you're not. Base it on your target market. And of course, don't forget your CODB, your cost of doing business. That's very important. Craig Wagner. Hello, Rob. I grew up the same way. I have the same problem pricing sometimes. Yeah, man. I mean, people have no idea how poor I was. We're a family business who bootstrapped from nothing to where we are today. If people could look back and see how poor we were, we had to go get water. We only had usually one meal a day. It was a great meal, though, and I can't complain. My mother raised 9 kids, and my father had a measly job, but he did the best he could under the circumstances. So I have no complaints whatsoever, Actually, it probably instilled in me a fantastic work ethic, and it's made me hustle to where I'm at today. So, Preston, if you got anything else you want to know, let me know there. Barry Golem says, I was always taught to be the best at what you do and charge for it. Yeah, my dad always basically said, listen, anything worth doing is worth doing right. But he had a different way of saying it. He said, don't be a half-asser. Don't be a half-asser. That's no way to live life, being a half-asser. If you're going to do something, start it, finish it, do it all the way. And I really believe that. It's really important. Let's see, Ron said here that just the other day, I measured a room and I was pleasantly surprised to find I was going to cost $55 to clean that room, which didn't seem very big. There you go. So apparently you don't go by room pricing, you go by measurement, and that's good. Nothing wrong with that, Ron. Let's see. Here we go. Jeff Clinton, opening the thread up here. Things being a little bit touchy. Here we go. Jeff says, so funny you used to say that. I recently cleaned a few of my neighbors' homes, and they're the cheapest people. Filthy carpets and one of the cheapest rates. Nice that they were close to home, but really woke me up as to the quality of a customer. I just raised my rates to $45 a room because of it. There you go. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you need that little eye opener. You need to be woken up, you know? Something to bring you back to reality. I like that. Craig Wagner. I'm one of the higher priced carpet cleaners in my area, but I have a clientele and give them white glove treatment. Trying to open it up here. White glove treatment. And my equipment is always clean. I look professional. Yeah, man. You know, that's how I keep my equipment. If I walk in and look at my van right now, you'd be shocked how clean it is. You could eat off of it, you know, and it shocks customers. That's really important. Let's see, William Earp. I do asbestos removal, and most of the time people are shocked at how low it is. Most of the time people are happy with the price because what they have in mind, and they're willing to pay for it. Yeah, you know, I've had customers sometimes, I'm just kidding around and said a higher price. Yes, Mrs. Jones, for 3 rooms, it's going to be $400. She said, oh, okay, do you take credit cards? And I'm like, no, I was just kidding, Mrs. Jones. So I realized in my mind, you know, I could charge more money for it. But of course, you want to be honest and fair, too. So that's really important. Rohan says, I'm thinking about raising my prices. Go ahead, do it, man. Barry Gollum says he was 35 cents a square foot in 1985. Nice. John, good point. John Pollock makes the point there. He says, when you're cleaning a higher clientele, you don't get as many dirty carpets. That's the problem I'm running into, John. I want to go out there and show my pre-sprays the before and afters, but I've got so many freaking clean carpets, I'm having a hard time getting those before and afters. Isn't that crazy? Let's see. Andre, in the beginning, my dad started in 1983, a couple years before me. We were a discount company, many, many years. Over the last 5 years or so is when the revamping started. Hey, good, man. I'm sure your dad would be proud of you, Andre. I'm sure he'd be very proud of you. Who's Ruth Chris? It's a steak place. I don't know where you live at, Andy, but it's a steak place here that charges higher prices here in the States. Dallas, Parker, I'm always inspired to go harder. Yeah, I can tell that about you, Dallas. I like that, man. That's awesome. Every time I hear your stories and how you build everything, I notice I've gotten comfortable in easy money and not because of a lot of paid advertising. Everything is word of mouth because of our quality results. But I need to step things up. You know, listen, Dallas, I can tell you go hard, man, and that's great, pal. And on top of it, remember, we're all works in progress, okay? We're all moving forward. We're all working to improve. So don't be so hard on yourself. But then again, maybe you should be hard on yourself because we always want to continue to strive to improve and be better. I know if we're not doing something better, our advertising doesn't look better, our equipment doesn't look better, our chemistry, our processes, our attitude, if something hasn't improved in the last 5 or 10 years, then we're stagnant. And that's a problem. And you need to address that. Yes, it's a Prime Steakhouse, correct. 5-star steak dining restaurant, very good. The Andy's in the UK, I see. Okay, awesome. Let's see. CJ Herrera says, that's the way we are. You can call Stanley Steamer and get that McDonald's burger that you regret later, or get that prime quality cleaning at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Laughing out loud. Exactly. CJ just said, I just finished a house. Client had been using Stanley. And there's nothing against Stanley Steamer, okay? They have their clientele, and believe me, they make a lot more money than we do. All right? But they allow their people 7 minutes a room, so there's a difference. Or we'll stay there and get it right. Let's say I got to take care of the pet treatments. Carpets came out great, smells amazing. There's a huge difference between quality jobs, and it shows. That's why I'm able to charge a bit more for our services. Exactly. Exactly. There you go. What's up, Christopher? How you doing, man? Danny CR, that's what I say to my customers. Or we clean it or we don't clean it, and that's the price. Yeah, hey, nothing wrong with that. Cyrus, I've heard over the years that pet treatment should soak in pad for 24 hours. Let me finish opening this here. But the UPS bottle says that you only need to let it set for a little while. Hey, Cyrus, do yourself a favor. Pick up some Unchained and thank me afterwards. Works immediately. The only time you really need the little bit of dwell time, maybe half an hour, is on cat urine with Unchained. Unchained is a game changer. What's up, Brian? How you doing? Based on the review. So there you go, guys. I made it through all of them there, okay? It's really important to, I'm going to get myself a drink too. Might get some light in here. There we go. There we go. Get a little bit of light in here, but I'm going to grab myself a drink. Just walk inside the door. Get some light on here so I can see. There we go. Let's see if the wife's got anything in here that I can eat or drink. This is kind of cool. If you haven't never seen one of these, you'll be mad because you don't have the countertop splitter. But this here is an Enagnet machine. And basically, it's a Kangen water. It's kind of cool. You turn it on, and you get some really nice water there, and you can kind of set the pH of the water. And I like to, lately I've been drinking 8.5. But you can put it on 6.0, 7.0, 2.5 for acidic for cleaning things. You can go as high as 9.5, cooking and stuff like that. So I'm going to fix myself a nice big glass of water right now. And I'll probably go 8.5. Got myself some 8 Yeah, no problem, Cyrus. I love helping out people, man. You know, I believe in the law of reciprocity. I believe if I help other people, they'll help me out. So this Kangen machine is pretty cool. It's really nice to have. Helps with water. It, you know, one thing I've noticed in my older age, I don't drink enough water. Probably why I lost some hair. Yeah, that's it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So just remember, couldn't hardly get that out there. Generally, you're not your client. Let's see. Hello from South Africa. Learned so much from you guys over the years. Thank you. No problem, Cindy. That's awesome. I'd love to go out there and visit sometime, you know. So, you know, you just got to determine who your clientele is. Remember, hopefully from this you understand and you realize that you are not your client. Okay? Now, you might be one of your clients, but for the most part, you're probably not your client. Think about your background. Think about your mentality. Think about your pricing structures. And then think about who your target market is and charge accordingly for the service that you deliver. I know if you're following truck mount forums, you're using our chemistry, you're using our processes, you're using good truck mounts or even good portables, and you're delivering that proper customer experience, you're clean, you're well uniformed, and all that stuff, well then you should be charging accordingly. So don't be afraid to charge. And I feel like if you can just get out of that mindset, figure out who your client is, and realize you're not your client, you can maximize your profits and make a lot of money. And that's what we're trying to help you to do. What's up, Ladio? How you doing, my friend? Thank you for saying TMF is the best. We're really working hard to be able to accomplish that. Well, thanks a lot, everyone. I'm going to drink my water. And as you can see, I'll walk you over here. Fortunately, the sun is coming out. Yes. So I'm going to hit the golf course here. You can see the sun is coming back out in the neighborhood there. So I'm really happy about that. And there's the hole up there. You can kind of see the flag, I think. I don't know if it'll let you see through there. But anyway, long story short. Actually, that was a long story long. Here's my water. Nothing like nice, clean water, is it? Check that out. Look how clean that water is. You know, I wonder if a company figured out by charging for a certain amount of water is how they charge more money. This came in our area. Can you think of what company that bases their prices and their method and their marketing off of water? Maybe we can talk about that next time. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have yourself a great day.